Hey you guys, it's your host Davion. Welcome to another episode of Consciouztv. You guys already know what we're here to talk about, but before we get into that, make sure that you comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, hit all when you do. You can also donate to the show at my Cash App, which is $Consciouztv, and or you can PayPal me at paypal.me/Consciouztv, and you can also email me at consciouztv@gmail.com. I do respond to all emails. Let's get into it. So you guys already know what this means. Handy dandy notes on deck. It's going to be another long haul, so I hope that you got your headphones in, your popcorn ready. We're about to go down a bloody rabbit hole once again. So before I get into this, I definitely want to shout out some of my recent donators. I want to shout out Crystal, Alberta, and Deborah. Thank you so much for your Cash App donations. You guys know that I don't do super chat, so I don't really get to benefit from the super chat feature. So I really appreciate you guys who still find a way to provide me with some type of financial compensation. It is not required. All donations are given from the heart, which makes them even more valuable and appreciative to me. So God bless you guys. I hope you guys continue to enjoy the content in the channel, and I'm looking forward to continuing to educate, inform, be challenged, do the challenging, and build Consciouztv with you all. I also want to give a shout out to my patrons. I have 18 patrons so far. That is quite a bit of patrons for somebody who just started their Patreon. So if you guys have not subscribed to my Patreon, definitely make sure you go over there at www.patreon.com/Consciouztv. There are new receipts that have been dropped into my Patreon as of today. So for all of my patrons, look for those notifications. And if you haven't subscribed, once again, you definitely want to do so, because everything regarding a lot of the stories that I'm going to be covering, there's going to be access information and receipts that are going to be dropped into my Patreon. So shout out to my patrons. I'll be going live and talking to all of my patrons very soon, so just stay on the lookout for that. Now we have quite a bit of ground to cover. Sir William McCray, there's going to be a little bit of a commentary on him at the end of this commentary, so just stick around for the long haul. This is definitely going to get interesting. Now before I get into updating you guys on the Larry Reid, Dewey Smith, House of Hope, aka House of Horror situation, let me address a few things first. After I initially picked the story up and broke it, some of you guys came back over here from King Jives's channel and said, King Jives said that the case was thrown out. Listen, I don't have nothing to do with the information King Jives provides. All I know is I provide the facts over here, okay? Because for those of you who came over here and told me what King Jives said about the Larry Reid situation, you would have actually subscribed to my Patreon, you would have known that what King Jives was talking about was only one of two cases that got dismissed. There are two cases pending against Larry Reid. One is involving the baby mama, which was dismissed. That's the one that King Jives said is tossed out of court. There's also a case against Larry Reid regarding the alleged rape victim that came out of the House of Hope. There is a restraining order currently on Larry Reid, which is why Larry Reid can't go live and speak about the situation, which is why he had to give up all of the information in his Patreon, which is now in my Patreon, for you guys to continue to analyze and to view, so that we can keep the conversations going about the House of Hope and this alleged rape victim. And there's a lot more victims at hand out of the House of Hope, which we're going to cover in this video as well, just a little bit. King Jives got it correct. A case was thrown out, but not the case was thrown out, because there are two cases. For those of you who watch the video, let me say it for the bitches in the back. There were two cases, the baby mama case and the alleged rape victim case out of the House of Hope. Keep up. This is not rocket science, people. Let's be clear. I don't compete with nobody. I communicate the facts that I get from my reputable sources, culminated with the facts and the evidence surrounding a case, okay? I don't have anything to do with what somebody else don't know, what somebody else does and does not report on. I just know that I get up on this camera and get up on my platform and do the thorough research required and speak to you guys from a informed perspective, okay? That's what Consciouztv does. So I don't care about what no other blogger is saying about what. You can just take my perspective, you can take the information that I'm providing and do what you will with it. But don't come onto my platform as if what another motherfucker said has anything to do with what I'm saying, because everything that I provided could be backed up in this public motherfucking record, okay? And I am very clear about what are the facts, and I am very clear about what is allegedly. Catch the language, catch the lingo, because all of that helps to set up the context, okay? Over here, we're critical thinkers and we pay attention. Keep up. Also, I saw that Larry Reid had posted the link to my video on his YouTube community feed, and I saw some of the comments, and let me just say this. For the handful of you gutter snipe, twisted mouth, dust bucket ass motherfuckers who had the audacity to revision the motivation and the agenda behind defending your own favorite by trying to throw me under the bus, and I'm out here defending your favorite, the motherfucker who you subscribe to. I was in the shower washing this body, and I was ready to get off on this camera and cuss you hoes out from here to Timbuktu. Then I heard the Holy Spirit say, Tavian, you know damn well you are about to be vindicated. So don't even give these niggas that. Don't even give them all that. Okay? Because the proof is about to be in the motherfucking pudding. Okay? The record is about to be set very fucking straight for all of the naysayers and the skeptics. So with that being said, I'm not gonna even cuss you motherfuckers out. Okay? I'm about to be very vindicated. And I took a screenshot of every last single one of you motherfuckers' screen names. Because when the day of reckoning and judgment comes, which is about to be very motherfucking soon, I want a goddamn apology from each and every last single one of you twisted mouth ass motherfuckers who had the nerve to use your dick sucker to put my name in your mouth sideways, bitch. Okay? Trust and believe that. And I will be waiting, legs crossed, popcorn ready, awaiting my apology. But I want to shout out to all my supporters, because all of you guys' love and support has been very overwhelming. For those of you who went and downloaded Larry's videos in order to post them up in other places so that we can continue to keep our fucking foot on the necks of the House of Hope and Dewey Smith and that whole corrupted ass institution, hat off to you. This is what teamwork looks like, and we want to definitely give a shout out to all of the blogs who have picked up this story and started covering this story as a result of you guys sharing my initial video and my initial commentary. That has created a epic domino effect. There is some shit in motion in the background of things that video has done, and I can't get into all the details, but I'm going to tell you guys what I can in this follow-up, okay? For all of you guys who keep asking Larry Reid to speak, to go live, to speak about what's happening, I need you guys to understand, this man has a court-appointed restraining order against him. The restraining order says he cannot speak about the situation. So because of that, he cannot go live. He cannot speak to this matter. Stop asking him. Stop tweeting him. Stop Instagramming him. Stop emailing him. Stop commenting and posting him to go live. When his litigations are over and complete and the judge lifts this restraining order, then Larry will be able to get on his own platform and speak to you guys as fluidly and transparently as he would like to about everything that's been happening, okay? So now let's get into it. So I told you guys in my last upload that Larry was supposed to appear in court the next day. So by the time my video went up, Larry would have already appeared in court. Now last Wednesday, Larry had his first hearing as it relates to the restraining order against him. Now, for those of you who don't understand how restraining orders work, this is how they work. When you first get a restraining order put against you, typically the person putting one against you will have the restraining order granted. It's just automatic. Then you have a hearing that is to produce the reason and the motive for the restraining order. After after this initial hearing about the motive for the restraining order to analyze and dissect what the situation is, then quote-unquote trial begins in order for one party to defend itself against that restraining order and the other party to pretty much validate that restraining order, okay? And this is now where Larry Reid is in that situation. Now, during this first court hearing, he had to first appear in court at 9:30, and he also had to appear back in court at 3 o'clock that afternoon for both cases with the House of Horror, okay? For the baby mama situation and for the alleged rape victim scenario. Now, I know all of this because there was a lot of Georgia press at this hearing, okay? You had the AJC, which is the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, along with other press and media outlets who were there to cover the story. Now, before I get into the litigations themselves, I want to say that despite all the press that was at this hearing covering the story, I am very surprised that since the hearing, which was, what, 4 or 5 days ago, that none of those media outlets have even reported on the hearing. But I think I know why. That just like Phaedra, just like William, everybody in this situation so far has been paid off, and I would not be surprised if the press also has been paid off to push publicity, positive publicity, on behalf of the House of Hope. This would explain why none of the press has reported anything, even though they were all present at this hearing, because the hearing did not go well. The hearing has not gone in favor of Dewey or the House of Horror yet. So far, everything is yielding itself toward Larry. All of the developments so far make the House of Horror look like trash. This tells me that the media is biased, the media is not telling the truth, and they're not interested in the truth, and it's probably because they've been paid good fucking money. They've signed consultant agreements as well, okay? And they cannot say anything that would incriminate or indict the House of fucking Horror. Spiritual people, I'm gonna need y'all to catch it. Those with seeing eyes, catch what's happening here. Catch it. So what I'm about to tell you guys as it relates to the hearing is all in my Patreon. The judge actually unsealed the records. Now they're public as a result, okay? Shit, from this point, we just about to call Larry Reid Larry Smollett, okay? They have unsealed the motherfucking records. Now, you guys can go into my Patreon, which the link will be down below, as well as in the description box and at the bottom of the screen, where you can actually go through all of the unsealed documents regarding the second hearing, which has to do with the rape victim. So the first hearing had to do with the baby mama, Larry, having 2 subpoenas filed against him. One was for a sworn testimony. Dewey and his baby mother already had been in litigations prior to Larry handling and coming into the equation with the story. Dewey is trying to hold the baby mama in contempt of court because the baby mama also signed a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, when Dewey initially started paying child support. In that clause, allegedly, she was never supposed to speak about how much child support Dewey is paying and what the nature of that child support agreement is in detail. According to sources, Dewey and his lawyer Quentin Washington were really attempting to get the baby mama locked up. At this point, the House of Horror has not only tried to run motherfuckers off the road, threaten people into silence by death, coerce people into manipulative agreements like a consultant agreement just to control them, but they're also trying to just put motherfuckers in jail. So the House of Horrors are going all out to keep the insidious nature, the demonic activity, the fraudulent Luciferian ass sex trafficking rituals that go on in the shadow aspect of the House of Hope fucking quiet, because now pus and mucus is just dripping out of all the nooks and crevices of this fucking institution. So the House of Horror is losing its mind right now. They're trying to press the fucking gas because the truth is this close to just combusting in this entire situation. Now, luckily, thanks to you guys who have been praying and financially contributing to Larry's legal aid, your prayers helped tremendously right out of the gate, because the same judge that initially granted Quentin Washington, who is the House of Hope's lawyers, the subpoena and the lawsuit and the restraining order against Larry, is not the same judge who will be ruling over these matters, which means that we don't have to worry about a biased judge. This particular judge will be able to be non-biased, look at both parties, and inspect and analyze the information and the data and make an informed and unbiased ruling just based upon what the circumstances are and what they look like. Now, this judge not only unsealed the documents, which is going to benefit Larry, it's going to allow for the public to be able to retrieve information about what's going on, since Larry cannot get up and tell you guys for himself. So this is a win for the public, for us, that this judge has unsealed those court documents, which once again you guys can go and find in my Patreon at www.patreon.com/ConsciouzTV. Go on over there and look into this case. Now, the second thing that happened in this first hearing with the baby mama is that the judge dismissed the contempt of court charge that was initially filed against the baby mama and Larry Reid. Now, the contempt of court charge is the charge that could have landed Larry into potential jail time. This charge carries up to 3 to 4 weeks of jail time. Now that it's been overruled, Larry is no longer facing jail time, okay? The case that's been thrown out, the baby mama is off the hook. Dewey and Quentin Washington could not prove that she had breached her NDA, and neither could they prove that Larry had helped her or assisted her, or that any of his interviews and conversations and texts and emails between him and her indicted or incriminated her by any means necessary, because she never ever disclosed to Larry the nature and the content within that NDA regarding child support. Smart move, baby mama. Now, according to some of my sources who are connected to the press that was in attendance to this motherfucking hearing, Dewey Smith had multiple outbursts during both hearings, because the judge was seemingly intelligent enough to see through all of Dewey's bullshit, and everything was pretty much going in favor of Larry Reid live. Dewey could not get his handlings as it relates to his baby mama. The judge ruled in favor of the baby mama, and neither so far has he been able to get his handlings on Larry Reid, as because the contempt of court charge has been fucking dropped. And now the only thing that we're doing here is fighting against the restraining order. Now, what Larry's lawyers have to prove over the next coming weeks is that Larry is within his right to freedom of speech, interest of the people, and freedom of press. If Larry's team cannot prove that Larry is within his right and wellness to speak on behalf of things that are coming out of the circumstances surrounding the House of Horror, then the restraining order will be permanent. That means that Larry will never, ever again in his natural born life be able to speak directly about the House of Hope, Dewey Smith, and anything involving Dewey Smith and the House of Hope. Larry will have a permanent sealed fucking mouth. Okay, so we're going to need those prayers to remain high vibrating. We're going to need those financial contributions to remain strong, because allegedly Larry had to drop $7,000 on his legal team alone, and that was only for phase 1 of these hearings. Phase 2, he's going to need about just as much motherfucking money in order to seal in this legal team. So it's going to be very important for us all to aid Larry Reid through donating to the show, signing up to his Patreon, and supporting him financially, and maintaining those prayers, because once again, we're not in the clear. Only the first case involving the baby mama has been dismissed. Larry is still in a legal fight against the House of Hope to have this restraining order lifted, okay? I will more than likely be the one to come up here and tell you what the judge ruled in, but if the judge rules in Larry's favor, which we're keeping our fingers crossed. Now, according to my sources, If Larry Reid wins this case, Larry's legal team plans on suing the motherfucking melanin off of E. Dewey's ass. So there's going to be a huge legal battle against the House of Horror if Larry can win in favor of this restraining order. He's going to be able to fight on behalf of defamation and credibility of him as a blogger and his platform, and also for the loss of wages. You guys know that Larry Reid Live's platforms are monetized. His Facebook is monetized, and so is his YouTube channel monetized. So he's losing thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because they are partially suspended and frozen. So he's not able to do his commentary from the platforms that he pays his fucking bills from. So yeah, we're going to be getting all of that coin if Larry Reid wins this fucking case. Now, for those of you who are wondering, well, what happened to the status of the consultant agreement between E. Dewey Smith and Larry Reid? Well, that case was also dismissed. Larry was able to prove that the consultant agreement was nothing more than an NDA disguised as a consultant agreement, coupled with the fact that the agreement was null and void because the paperwork was already notarized a day before Larry and E. Dewey even signed the fucking paperwork, according to my sources. Now, you guys know that notarizing paperwork outside of both parties or all parties involved is actually illegal. Phaedra would have also already known this, but went through this way any fucking way. She's the attorney at hand, and so is Quentin Washington. So it says a lot about their own professional integrity, because they are supposed to be representation of the fucking law, and yet broke it by allowing E. Dewey and allowing motherfucking Larry Reid to sign this paperwork, knowing that it had already been notarized, and notarized outside of both of their damn presence. Coupled with the fact that E. Dewey Smith had already breached the goddamn consultant agreement out of the gate, because E. Dewey Smith, according to my sources, never ever gave Larry the money he was going to pay Larry Reid for the consultant services to Larry Reid himself. Dewey gave the money to Phaedra. Now, in one of the clauses in the consultant agreement, it says that all wages are to be transferred directly from E. Dewey Smith to Larry Reid. Instead, Phaedra Parks acted as a middle piece, so that also made the contract null and void. Now, isn't this the most ghetto ass Trick Daddy loving hip hop Mona Scott Young ass production I've ever seen? What type of niggerations is going on here? I ain't never seen more goddamn corners cut and back doors tucked in than the bootleggedness of how this goddamn consultant agreement alone was fucking handled, okay? Speaking of Phaedra Parks, if I'm not mistaken, I remember watching one of Larry's shows last year. He had just begun getting to know Phaedra, and he was looking into using her as a lawyer. Now, interestingly enough, a image of Phaedra and E. Dewey Smith popped up online from 2014. And guess what? According to my sources, Phaedra never disclosed just how close her and E. Dewey Smith was. What that essentially means is that when Phaedra Parks was brought in and hired as legal representation on behalf of Larry to help Larry fight E. Dewey Smith, this would explain why Phaedra Parks came back from her meeting with Quentin Washington, who is the lawyer of the House of Horrors, and came back with the consultant agreement instead of helping Larry to actually have the House of Hope back down and get up off of his ass. Phaedra Parks was playing the fucking middle the entire time. She had already been connected and close to Dewey years prior to ever knowing Larry, and failed to disclose the depth of that relationship to Larry. I mean, Atlanta is living up to its fucking name at this point, okay? Mind you this, the new developments involve a second rape victim coming out of the House of Hope, coupled with the fact that E. Dewey Smith's executive assistant is allegedly about to face a statutory rape charge because she is involved in a sexual affair with a 15-year-old boy out of Louisiana. Yes, people, you heard this shit correct. At this point, the House of Horror might as well rent out a crane, have the entire fucking building lifted up and just baptized in the River Jordan. Coupled with the fact that everybody who lives in Atlanta needs to go to the goddamn city and request the goddamn property to be condemned and to have the House of Hope bulldoze the fuck down. I mean, just throw the whole goddamn bitch away. Throw the baby and the bathwater the fuck out. This thing is rotten and dead from the inside out. Now, for those of you who don't know, the House of Hope particularly caters to women and children who have been involved in sex trafficking. But what it actually looks like, according to the victims that are coming forward, according to the information that is spilling out of the House of Hope, is that this program that the House of Hope has is really a disguise for a sex trafficking ring. Okay? They are disguising a wellness program, a residential program, in order to actually isolate victims and to continue to keep them in a perpetual cycle of sexual fucking abuse. And these are high-powered individuals who are raping the House of Hope members in this program. These aren't the janitors, these aren't the maids, these are allegedly E. Dewey's right-hand man, who is allegedly a rapist, and E. Dewey's left-hand woman, who apparently is in a sexual affair with a 15-year-old teenage boy. It looked like for the House of Hope, what won't come out in the wash is for damn sure about to come out in the motherfucking rinse. Oh God. Speaking of Sister McCray, when my video touched down, it sent a shockwave through all of fucking Georgia, because now some of the victims who Miss William McCray has extorted have come forward. On Saturday night, Bishop George Anthony Matthews went forward on his Facebook post and posted a photocopy of an exchange between his bishop and William McCray, where William is demanding Bishop Monroe to give him $10,000 to not publish doctored lies against Bishop Matthews. William McCray was going to push false evidence against Bishop Matthews that says that Bishop Matthews is on the down low, that Bishop Matthews is playing in boy pussy, and that he attended gay pride, and that he's been seen in gay bars. And William McCray was trying to blackmail and extort Bishop Matthews' bishop at the time. I think Bishop Matthews can tell it himself. I'll leave the link to his Facebook in the description box below. You guys can head over there and see his screenshot for yourself. Now, William McCray, let me tell you this. You crack pipe, bad body built bitch. I'm gonna give you 30 fucking days to release every individual you currently are extorting for money from their contracts. And if you do not succeed in releasing all current victims from your extortionist agreements with them, the people who have emailed me and sent me the audio proof are going to drop all of the receipts to indict and publish for all of the world to see, and legal action will be taken against you. And you have 30 fucking days to release every single person you are receiving money from and extorting resources from. You have 30. From the date that this video is uploaded, you have 30. Now, I'm just the messenger. But in 30 days, if you have not succeeded in doing so, the bombs will drop. People who gonna drop these bombs also wanted me to tell you that they're giving you the opportunity to make it right yourself. You got 30 days to decide what type of woman, what type of man, what type of shim you is, what type of integrity a centaur has. Okay? You got 30 days to do some chest compressions to reanimate that cold, soulless, inactive, unliving ass heart that resides behind those man boobs, okay? I'm just the messenger. But these people not playing with your ass. Because these people have not only showed me all of the evidence, and I've heard it and seen it for myself, but they've also showed other people who are prepared to whistleblow your ass underneath the jail cell, okay? But we giving everybody in this situation an opportunity to repent and to get some goddamn sense about themselves, okay? So, don't say that you weren't given the opportunity. Don't say you wasn't given a chance to make it right. And one more thing, since our circles are so small, I would highly, highly, highly encourage you to tread real motherfucking lightly as it relates to my name. Because there ain't hardly anybody at this point that you can talk to who ain't talking to me about you talking to them about me. Because you keeping my name in your deep throater might just expedite this process. So I'm going to give you the opportunity as well to keep it real motherfucking cute. Real cute. You better speak about everything but Consciouztv. And you better speak about everybody else but Consciouztv. Don't think that you can trust anybody in your circle, because it's the people who in your circle that have got you in this fucking predicament to begin with. The people around you have completely set you up. The people who you are extorting, if you thought that you had just gotten some fucking control and silenced these people have been making bloody moves behind your motherfucking back. The day and the hour was gonna come. And in 30 days, if you have not done the motherfucking right thing, you will see everything that you have raptured up. Because everybody who you done fucked over at this point is prepared to press the gas on your ass. And they are uniting in secret against your ass. You got 30 days to make the shit right, bitch. 30 days. Well, guys, we've reached the end of the rope. You guys are all caught up at this point. Larry is still in litigation, so he still needs your prayers. He still needs your financial contributions. I will leave the link to his PayPal, and I will leave the link to his Patreon as well as his Cash App in the description box below. You guys make sure to do that, but more importantly, I want you to pray on behalf of Larry. Things are far from over as it relates to the evil and the horrors out of the House of Hope, and we can't let one of the only leading bloggers be silenced, because he's been one of the only people to have put these situations and put these victims in a space where they can speak, where they can get some form of justice. And now once again, it's up to us, you guys, to run the story. I want to shout out to all of the other smaller content creators who have ran the story. Olivia the Oracle, thank you so much for sharing my video, for participating and get the word out. I'm going to leave Olivia the Oracle's link in the description box below. If you have a platform, upload any of the videos that you have of Larry covering the House of Horror to your personal YouTube. Thank you guys for supporting me and supporting Larry. I love that you guys love the camaraderie that's happening. You guys know also I spoke how Tasha K got involved and extended her legal team to Larry. I will be continuing to keep you guys updated. Make sure that you guys rate, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hit all when you do. Once again, all donation information will be in the description box below, as well as at the bottom of the screen. You guys stay in pieces, stay prayed up, stay unified on this front. Let's take these motherfuckers down. All the victims as it relates to William McCray and the House of Hope, come forward. This is the time of retribution. This is the time of fucking justice. And we have your back. So step into the light, Caroline. Step into the light, all victims. You will be protected. You will be fought for. You have a safe space amongst us. We are here to help. You guys can email me at consciouztv@gmail.com as well. Stay in peace, not pieces. I will talk to you guys later.